My name is Carson Arthur, and on this episode of Green Force, we're about to transform this piece of asphalt into an environmentally friendly and absolutely beautiful outdoor garden. And at the same time, we're going to be helping those people who spend their time helping other people, as we give the Working Women's Community Center a brand new first impression.
Working Women Community Center is a charitable nonprofit agency that's been around since 1976, helping immigrant women and their families adjust to life in Canada. So we work with newcomers looking for housing, employment. We help them through the adjustment process.
Currently, the space kind of looked like it was an unused parking lot along the side of the building, just kind of unwelcoming.
It doesn't look like it has any owners. It doesn't look like it has anybody that cares about it. It just has the sense of an abandoned space.
This is still a pretty working class ethnic neighborhood, and being able to fit into who we are as an organization and into the community that we live in would be fabulous.
How long have you been in this building?
28 years.
Really?
Yep.
And how long has the asphalt been here?
Oh, good 25.
So it really hasn't been a priority?
No, not quite. Our priority is to service clients. We don't have the financial resources as a charitable agency to pull together the kinds of money that we need to build up the site.
So how do people actually use this space now?
We use it for loading, unloading when we need to go and do programs elsewhere, but that's pretty much it.
If I came along and ripped all of this up, what would you like to see me replace it with?
I'd love to see lots of greenery. I'd love to see some seating. We have a lot of seniors who come into programs. They often sit on the edge of the windows, as you can see, so it'd be great. Yeah, they'll sit and wait here for the wheel-trans to show up, and so we'd like to provide them something comfortable to sit at.
And not much of a view.
It's concrete sterile.
Okay, I noticed that there's a few doors. Do they use that door or do they use this one?
Nope, staff use this door, and this one's used for program space.
Then two access points into the space. And is that an alleyway or just a driveway?
It's a laneway that leads into a parking lot, so it's a fairly used access point.
The biggest challenge in this space is coming up with a design that meets everybody's needs in a long, narrow area. I'm basically designing a front yard because it's the first thing that people are going to see. I mean, the final question I had is, do you ever actually open these curtains?
Not during the summer. It's just too hot in there.
I promise you then, the next time they go up, you're definitely going to have something better to look at.
And I promise you we'll be thrilled.
Yay! Now here's the design. Okay.
Yeah, it looks great.
So the very first element I want to talk to you about is this one here. I want to put two walls, one at each end, almost like bookends in the garden. It's a technique called a peekaboo wall.
Okay.
Basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to draw your eye into the space. So the inside of the circle is going to be painted a vibrant blue.
Wow.
You'll also notice that there's a lot of circles happening in this garden. In fact, in landscaping, circles tend to be a bit more feminine.
I think circles are great. It's very much how we describe our holistic approach.
Okay, keeping with the circle theme, I'm going to do a hand-laid mosaic tile. But it'll be just something different other than interlock.
That's exciting. This area here, we have a parking lot. It's used quite a bit. I'm concerned about cars driving in and hitting this fabulous wall.
So then let's plan to do this. We're going to move this whole unit into the space a little bit more. Okay, lose these two benches, fill the whole area around it with plants.
Great.
When it comes to colors of the plants, I wanted to ask you about the sign over the door. I want to pull some of those colors down into the garden through the plants. Okay. So I was thinking actually going with some of the brighter colors, the pinks and the yellows. Even this Rose of Sharon here. Like, that's a very vibrant plant, but I think it works for you guys. I also want to incorporate grasses.
Yeah, I love those grasses.
Okay, they add a lot of texture and density into the space.
Great.
But be very low maintenance. Then these are the benches that I'd like to put in.
Terrific.
This is going to be a raised planter. I'm going to put a fairly large sculpture in the center of it.
Terrific.
For the garden at the Working Women's Community Center, I'm planning to introduce a little inspiration into the space. So I'm going to bring in some statuary. Now there's two ways to do statuary properly in a garden. Either you pick your statue and design the garden around it, or you can pick a statue kind of like they've done here, one that's naturalized to the garden. In this case, we have a beautiful rock waterfall and a handsome deer standing beside it. This is a scene you'd see in nature, which means the designer of this garden got it right.
That'll be the first thing people see as they come in. Good stuff.
Okay?
Yeah.
Any other concerns?
No, just get started. Yeah, I think Carson did a great job of bringing together the concept of who we are as an organization into this design of his. I think it's going to be incredibly welcoming on so many levels.
With the design approved and the asphalt ripped up, it's time to meet with the Green Force landscaper and go over the plan. What's with the cut in the concrete?
Well, because this has a bit of a slope to it,
Yep.
to make it a more usable space, we needed to build a wall here, and then we'll build up flush to the wall.
So you're talking about potentially doing a wall across the whole front face there.
Right.
Well, where's the wheelchair access though?
If we put a small wall here, we could just slope it right down.
So you'll still have a slope from that door to the ground or to
Yeah.
the sidewalk. This will have a little bit of a ledge, and then there'll be a step up onto this area, and this will be a level landing.
Right.
Then that is going to change the circle though, right? Because the center of it still has to be right about here.
It will be, but we'll be making it a bit smaller.
Do you actually have enough room for a bicycle in front of this bicycle rack?
We actually measured it with the bikes attached.
Okay.
So there's enough room to slide a bike in and lock it up, and
But just enough room.
just enough room.
Would be best if we could just remove this one. This one's actually loose.
Well, that was easy. Excellent.
All right, it's all yours. Keep going.
Thank you.
For the garden at the Working Women's Community Center, I'm going to use a very specific list of plants, but they also have to be adaptable to an urban setting. Now for the trees, I've chosen to use the ginkgo. Not only is the ginkgo drought tolerant, it's also pollution hardy and can even handle road salt. Now the only downside for me is that the ginkgo is green, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but in this case I want it to be bright and lively. So for that, I've chosen some very colorful shrubs. Now pink is a pretty obvious color choice, and this is a perfect example why. I have 3 plants here, all with different shades. Now the first one, this guy here, it's almost like a baby pink, and it's a little bit too youthful for what I'm trying to go for. This particular one steals the show, which is great if you want a focal point, but in this case, I want it more in the background. I'm going to go with my favorite hydrangea. This is called Pinky Winky, and it's a hydrangea paniculata. There's greens, there's creams, and then there's this great antique pink. This is a great plant as an accent. Now I have another pink that I also want to introduce in this garden, but it's a very unusual pink, something you have to see to believe. Now this is called Beauty Bush. And for most of the season, it just has green leaves. But at this time of the year, it really puts on a show. It's covered in these bright pink berries. Now this variety is called Atomic Pink, and I'm planning to put it just outside the garden. This plant is really gonna liven that space up. I think she looks like Venus.
Yes, she is. She is Venus.
Hey, are you ready to see this?
Wow.
Big changes already? We're at the Working Women's Community Center, an agency dedicated to helping immigrant women adjust to life in Canada. We've completely ripped up the asphalt that has remained unchanged for over 25 years. And as the Green Force team begins construction, I'm off to find the perfect focal piece for this space. You know, I do love these ones, especially the drafts, because they're so lifelike. I can't believe they have glass eyes. That's beautiful, but not what I was looking for. I was after this statue. She's stunning. Although I didn't realize, she's actually a fountain. I could plant in the shell, and that would actually look really nice too.
Yes, you could. It's
Okay.
bronze, so it's durable. It's a cast from an original, so the wax is destroyed after the casting.
So each one is original to that wax mold. And you don't do anything to care for it.
She needs